Well, I shouldn't say that. It's kind of a weird week. My
Why is it a weird week?
so my dog on Saturday got the craps, and then he basically had that for like the next 3 days. Wouldn't let us sleep, so he had to just like continually wait for him to go every hour and clean it up and make sure he wasn't getting dehydrated or whatever. But um, anyways, that ended finally. I think on Tuesday night, and then on Wednesday morning, I think my wife slipped in the shower and landed on her ribs or whatever, and then she fainted after that, which I'd never seen someone faint before. So I ended up
It was
calling
that
911.
painful? Wow.
Yeah, I ended up calling 911 because I thought she was like dying, and the paramedics came and everything, but she's fine. So yeah, it was kind of a weird week.
Wow.
Never called 911 before legitimately, and
Really?
yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time I called 911. I call 911 like every 3 months. I'll
Hmm.
call it on homeless people trying to set up camp across the street from me.
I butt dialed 911 on a run last year, and I think before that, I think I accidentally dialed them a really long time ago, but I've otherwise never had the need, I guess. So I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like, there's times where I've wanted to call the police, but like. I don't want to call the emergency number. You know what I mean? And there isn't
No.
like
Well,
a
yeah.
straightforward number for that.
No, I call the police department. So I'll Google the city police department, and I'll be like, it's funny. I think the last time I did it, it was probably about 5 or 6 months ago. Um, so I'll call and I'll say, hey, this is not an emergency. However, within the beach entrance, there appears to be a homeless person that's trying to make the public park bench their home. They, it's likely that they probably have uh, drug paraphernalia with them, and they're black. It's like, we're on our way, sir. We're on our way. Because, like I say, in a predominantly Orthodox Jewish area, right? So I have to say it's like, yeah, by the way, he's black. We're on our way. Like, and then I'll and then I'll just look at the top of my building, and then I'll
Yeah,
see the patrol car roll up, and then they'll start questioning the person. Then you see the person pack up their stuff and leave. So it's not
gotcha.
racist if a black person does it, right? If I report.
I don't know. What if you use racism, if you use racism towards your own like ends? How do
I'm the
you?
black Karen.
How do? Yeah. Well, there's that, but
But the thing is, I do it like often enough, and the thing and like I thought about doing it like 2 weeks ago. Here's the thought process. Like I moved here from Cleveland. Like Cleveland it's not the best environment in regards to
Mhm.
security and like visual beauty, right? So like I made the investment to move down here to Miami Beach. It costs a lot of money to live where I live. I made a lot of sacrifices in my career. I don't have friends. I'm a hermit for the most part. And so like I don't want to leave one hood just to observe another hood trying to prop up. So like this whole like it's getting bad out here. Like I'm observing like tents probably every 50 yards now in Miami Beach when I go for my morning run. It's getting worse, dude.
Mm.
Um, and I didn't move all the way down here and make the sacrifices that I made to see that. I remember one time I called the cops like 2 years ago because I saw a homeless dude taking a dump at the shower where you like, you know, rinse off the sand. You know,
Yeah.
when you leave the beach, I saw a dude squatting, taking a dump right there, like where people
Not
like go
in the
barefoot.
bathroom. Yeah.
There is no bathroom. He was taking it at
Oh.
the rinsing station for when people want to rinse off the sand before they leave the beach.
Hmm.
He's squatting, taking. So like, I don't want this to turn into like L.A. and I'm a snitch. I'm a Karen. Oh, hey, they're trying to set up camp here. Hey, they're setting up their clotheslines out here, right? Because I didn't pay all this money to live where I live to have, peace and quiet, and also like, being a father now, I don't want my little kid to have to like tiptoe around needles. That's not in my interest.
Hmm.
So I'm a hater. I'm a snitch.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
What would you do, given that you have children and you see your literally across the street where you go every day, people are outsiders are trying to make it their home, and at the same time, they're trashing the place.
Um. I don't know. I guess I don't have that problem, so I don't really know what I would do.
You're
Um.
playing it too safe.
Yeah. Just move to a rural area. Like 90% of the problems of the city go away, but then you lose the benefits of the city. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna be able to afford Miami too long anyway, so
I don't know. Mate. Prices might be dropping here
it's
soon.
not dropping.
It's got. It seems like I've seen if just looking at the real estate market in Minnesota, it feels like we've peaked and that we're starting on the decline. I think that there's people that are dumping their properties now because before the market fully drops out. So I would have to assume it's got to
There's
hit.
I am observing a surge of homeless people that have that are trying to move to the beach, like literally like the beach, the sand.
Hmm.
It's I'm observing it, and I'm like, obviously, like I mean, some things are out of our control, right? And I mean, I feel bad, and I feel very insecure. You know what I mean? So like, I interviewed for a solutions architect position. I don't know if I told you that
Hmm.
earlier
Yeah, how'd
this
that go?
week. It it went well. The part that I was disappointed in is they gave me 10 minutes to design like a a video game enterprise distributed system. Like they gave me
Oh,
10
cool.
minutes based on time. It's not cool because 4 minutes I used to like ask questions about like what are they really seeking,
Hmm.
right? And then like I expected to draw a diagram and detail like the decisions based on the constraints. And like I didn't. There's no way you can design the enterprise grade system in 10 minutes, especially when you need to ask qualifying questions. So I was kind of disappointed that I really couldn't showcase everything that I've learned because I was binge studying that whole weekend.
Hmm.
I
Well,
was ready.
how do you
I
know you
wanted
didn't demonstrate what they were looking for by asking questions and clarifying?
because I only drew like 3 boxes on the diagram.
Yeah, but you
I,
don't.
I
You're assuming that that's what they were looking for, were the boxes on the diagram.
I was looking to demonstrate, hey, this is what I've been focused on lately, and this is what I demonstrate what I know. I want to demonstrate all these considerations, right? I had a model in my head of how I was going to give my dissertation, right? From designing the instrument to designing the enterprise around that instrument. I was going to diagram the 3 categories for the enterprise that we should be conscious of. From okay, we are a business, we get paid money, even though we're going to deliver this particular instrument. This is how we're going to model the enterprise. We're going to model it off of profit. We're going to model it off of the value that we're actually delivering to customers, and we're going to model it after risk management. Your profit is going to be partitioned into revenue and expenses. And the way that we make revenue are going to be these primary systems right here: customer subscriptions, partner ads, blah blah blah. For risk management, we're going to break that down into security, alerting, and monitoring. Within monitoring, key performance indicators and computing resources, we're going to monitor that, those alerts. Whenever something goes significantly, or whenever something significantly deviates from key performance indicators of business activity, we're going to go ahead and say, I had this whole thing ready and mapped out so I could like be a god of solution designing, right? And like
Mhm.
it didn't happen. I was just disappointed.
But yeah, but like I said, how do you know that you didn't do exactly what they were looking for? Have you gotten feedback yet?
No.
Well, then you don't know that. I mean, they might have been looking for somebody who, instead of immediately going into whatever, asks qualifying questions. It's, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. I studied so much. I feel like I have no choice but to solicit interviews, just so that I could reinforce what I've learned. So
What kind of
I'm
video
gonna paste it
game
on LinkedIn.
was it? Or were they trying to have you design out? I'm just curious. I'm interested
It
now.
was something I never heard of. It's called Wo- Wordo or something. They said it's some type of like
Oh,
I'm
Wordle?
not sure if I'm pronouncing. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I've
I
never
never heard
played
of it
Wordle, but
before.
I've heard it's all over.
And he
You haven't
said
seen those
like
on Twitter, like where people post little like images with the green and yellow blocks?
nope.
Well, you must not be on Twitter that much. It's like every
I'm
day it's there.
I'm on Twitter to message you. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, actually, I've thought about shutting my Twitter down, but every time I think about doing that, I'm like, well, this is the only way that Scott sends me a link, so so that I keep it up and still have it. Like
I
I
mean, I
spend too much
could
time
send
on
it
this
to
stupid
you
thing.
Gmail. It's just
Yeah, Twitter is easy enough. I don't know. Twitter used to be more valuable, but it's so hard to sift through the crap nowadays. Like especially as soon as anything like politically charged happens in the world, it's like you might as well just shut it down for a few days because you're not going to get any content you actually care about. So I don't know.
I'm gonna upload a screenshot of my resume to LinkedIn.
A screenshot, not a PDF.
Yeah. Can I do that? Hold up. I didn't know I could. Can I just upload a Word doc
I think
as a
so.
post? I don't think so.
PDF,
Oh,
you
hey, actually, you're
probably
right.
can.
Hold up. Hey, thanks. How do I do this? UNITY. Uh,
Uh, what else happened since last week? Yeah, nothing.
you ran 10 miles.
Yeah, 9 miles. I could have run 10. Actually, I probably could have. That night, I probably could have kept running for a full half marathon's distance, but I stopped where my parents live, um, and talked to them a bit, and then I got a ride back to my house. But I don't know. I mean, I wonder what pace you're going at because I have a pretty. I think I've got a relatively slow pace. Um, it gets faster every time, but it's well, not every time. I had to actually when I ran on that 9 miles, I had to consciously try to slow myself down at the start because I think I overdo it usually. I get tired, so I was at like an 11 and a half minute pace for that run, which is really slow for I think not really slow. It's slow enough, but I don't know. I was able to just keep going though. I was a little worried about because I've got the full marathon and it's 2 weeks from tomorrow, so I was starting to get a little worried that I wouldn't be able to finish it. But I'm feeling a little bit better after my last couple runs. So there's a 7 hour time limit, which is like a 16-minute pace you have to maintain. So if I can maintain a 10 or 12-minute pace for the duration, I should be okay. It's 12-minute pace is, I can't remember how many hours that would be, but 6 hours maybe or something.
I started bicycling. I bought a new bike, or they delivered me my bike like 2 days, 3 days ago.
Hmm.
Yesterday morning, I I rode all the way down to South Beach and back, which is about it's about an 8 mile um round trip, and then I went to work. I think I'm gonna do this every Thursday morning. I'm just gonna go to South Beach on my bike because it's just boardwalk straight
Hmm.
down. I'll be available in August for architect roles. I'm a hands-on architect. I don't know how to say hands. How do you communicate that you're an architect that writes code?
I was hoping you're saying, how do you communicate you're a hands-on architect? I was going to say I'm a groping architect. So
I'm an architect that
I grope
writes
problems. That'd be such
code,
a bad word.
writes infrastructure code,
I don't. Yeah. What's the
that
opposite
writes
of
the architectural runway, that writes the architectural foundation or runway. Which one?
what was the option?
I'm an
Sorry.
architect that writes architectural foundations or architectural runways. Which one sounds cooler?
Uh, I'm not really sure if either of those really make a whole lot of sense, but um,
Really?
yeah, I was trying to. I'm still on the what's the term for a coding architect? But
All right. How about
so
I
would
just
you
say I'm
say
a
the foundation or I mean architecture is foundation. I guess it's runway though too.
what if I just say I'm a coding architect?
Um,
I'm an architect that writes code that still writes code.
is it I'm an architect that still writes code or who still writes code? Hmm.
You talking about grammar?
Grammar. I don't know. I've been catching myself lately using because I heard I think a long time ago that that is rarely the like correct. You know, I don't even know what device it's called, but so now I catch myself all the time going, is this supposed to be who or whom or which?
I'm an architect and I write code
You're
and
a
I and I write plumbing code. Plumbing. I don't know. I'm an architect and I write code. So I said I'll be available in August for architect roles for architect roles. Should I just say I'm available in August for architecture?
I'm available in August for architect roles. Um,
Why is this so difficult to write?
let me
You know
think.
what?
If I yeah,
I'm just one sentence. I'm available in August for architect roles, and then I'm just gonna hit submit
would you call yourself like a solutions architect or like a application
application.
architecture, technical architect, or enterprise architect, or
I would consider myself a junior solutions architect, but
What does a solutions architect do?
My
Actually,
my position is a domain architect.
okay, so this company says there's a thing called technical architect who is the most hands-on during execution of IT projects.
Oh, that's me.
Most technical architecture focuses on one or more single implementation and specialize in a particular domain where they define best practices. Or if I don't know that this is a widely accepted term
Hey,
though.
you should bicycle too. It's gonna help your next marathon.
Yeah, well, probably would, but I don't. I hate bicycling. Um, my knees
Really?
hurt, tend to hurt, like more than
But
running.
you really? How is that possible?
And the worst part, well, I can fix the other one, which is my ass hurts on my bike a lot, which is um, I could be fixed with a different seat. I think I've got like a Trek bike and the seats one of those kind of like really thin ones, and so it's like by the time I get
Hmm.
done, it's just like pain down there. So
My motorcycle should be here in like 2 weeks.
that I want to pick up though. I really want to get.
I
I
get
don't
all
know.
these things delivered. My bicycle got delivered 3 days ago. My motorcycle gets delivered in 2 weeks. Now I got like 4 vehicles
Hmm.
with only 2 parking spots.
Oh, time to buy yourself a mansion,
And I
McMansion.
got to downsize because of the skyrocketing bubble of the housing market.
Nah, you just got to a different move to a different area where the housing costs aren't so expensive.
Or I got
But
to
that's
sell crack
and
to
you can
help pay my
and you
bills.
can then you can upgrade your living
Where would I
range.
move?
You're just
Detroit?
not gonna get your beach. You're just not gonna get your beach stuff. But there's plenty of places you can move that are cheap.
Man, my conscience weighs on me almost every day. I think about that thing.
What, the beach?
Yeah, which is why like it's kind of catch 22. Like I'm concerned about the economic turmoil that's been happening. So I want to stay employed, but at the same time I'm like, dude, I'm like 90% done. Like I just want to push this out and have passive income of like $20 a week until I can figure out how to tune it and grow it.
You mean your
So
beach delivery thing?
yeah, yeah.
I got you. Hmm.
Why don't you finish it for me?
I'll finish it, but I'll rewrite it from the ground up so that I don't have
Okay.
to deal with 70
F
different
sharp.
microservices. I'll build it with
I think it's like 15.
I'll build it all using um, Microsoft Orleans.
Did you ever investigate Elixir?
I did. Well, I mean, I did a bit. I never became proficient in it, um, but yeah, I mean, it was really neat.
Except it's not strongly typed, right?
It's not strongly typed, no, but it's functional in it's otherwise functional. It's just not typed strongly typed. But it's I don't know. There are I believe there were ways to you could define certain types called specs. I think that helped define the types, but it was um, but yeah, it's still dynamic. I don't know. It was pretty elegant of a language though. I thought it was good. I would have liked to explore it a little more. I did one. I did one advent of code in it, or I rewrote one of my advent in code solutions in Elixir. So that was kind of fun to go back down that path again. But yeah, I don't know. You could get the same thing. I mean, Elixir's great for the actor model, but you can get the same thing with Orleans or Akka. Or actually, you can use Dapper now too. Dapper's got actors involved in it, so if you need actors, you can. I don't know how it all works. I haven't looked at Dapper's actor yet, but I'm sure it's pretty slick. Dapper's pretty slick. I'm sure it's just based on Orleans. Actually, it couldn't be. It's based
I
on
mean,
Go.
those actor models are based on, I thought, like outages, right? And they self heal.
Well, that's one aspect of them, but the primary goal of the actor model is to deal with concurrency problems, um, just as a whole. So the fundamental unit of computation in that is the actor, and it's um, yeah, it's just no an actor always receives only one message at a time. So if you have a concurrency problem, you can basically reduce it down to a single thread where it can actually be processed without concurrency problems. So without having to do locking or anything like that. Um,
So, what's the difference between me using a specific language such as Elixir or Erlang to manage that versus using a framework such as Orleans or what's the other one?
Akka,
Akka, or just relying on serverless? Like, I'm trying to understand like what the trade-offs are or what the differences are because
well,
they're on scale, right?
yeah,
Like we can write in C sharp and use serverless.
yeah. So there is a little bit difference between using Akka and or Elixir and using Orleans. So Orleans is a virtual actor model versus um, a non-virtual actor. So Orleans actually handles the creation and life cycle of all your actors for you and all of their referential, relationships and stuff. So it makes it extremely easy to build on the actor model. So there's the benefit of that. Um, Whereas Akka and those you have to do a lot more plumbing yourself in terms of putting in life cycle maintenance and supervisors and all that kind of jazz.
I've done Akka before.
Yeah,
That stuff is complicated to me.
yeah.
I mean, I think I
Orleans,
wrote a blog post on it, but it was complicated to me.
yeah, and Elixir's is about the same. It's you create actors, you create gen servers, and all this stuff. It's complicated,
Shards.
but look at Orleans though. It's extremely easy. You have a grain, which is an actor, and a grain exists in silos, and that's basically where they live. And that's it. That's all you really need to know. And an actor is defined by its interface. So you declare an interface for a carrier actor, you know, and uh, and then if you want to address that carrier actor, you just grab its interface and say, hey, give me the grain for this ID.
So I
Um,
think F sharp has something similar. Odie would call me out on it, but F sharp has mailbox processor, which I think attempts to accomplish the same thing, and it's built into the
Probably
language.
mailbox processor. I've seen mailboxes even in like we use mailboxes even in some code back on my OpenVMS days. Um, yeah, the other thing that actor model gives you is okay, encapsulated mailbox processors with objects. Yeah, it might be very very similar. I don't. I'd have to look at the actual. Yeah, messages and agents. If you have agents, it's probably fairly similar to actors.
You convinced your job to hire me as an architect.
I think we don't have any job openings right now. Um, they're
Tell
kind
him
of
it's Scott Nimrod.
we're kind of bracing for the the likely economic downturn right now. So we're hedging at this point.
I want to get up on a podium and have businesses like bid on me. Like I want to auction myself physically, maybe even virtually.
Join
That should
hired or or what was it?
matters.
No, what's the thing where you do the coding um,
I don't do
tasks for
I don't do
jobs?
that.
But
I don't do that.
basically, like your outcome is like people can kind of basically like find your data and kind of request or your code and try to. But I don't think they have a one for architecture. So hmm.
I hate those platforms. It was really bad, I think, like 5 years ago. Everybody wanted you to take a coding test that had nothing to do with business application development and everything to do with like matrices and
Yeah,
computer sciencey stuff.
the
Yeah,
best
and I was like,
one.
I'm not going to take this. This has nothing to do with building a business app
Yeah,
using XAML or anything. Like, I don't like no.
what was the? I'm just trying to remember what the big one is that uh, that you do code exams through.
There are a couple of them.
I know there's a few, but oh man,
So I just remember recruiters like, yeah, they want you to take a test. I'm like, no, they can interview me and screen me. They could look at my GitHub. They could look at my videos of me coding, live coding, but I'm not going to take your test. Are you gonna pay me? Like I was resisting that so bad.
is it Hacker Rank? Maybe.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Let's see if this is the one that I was thinking of. Well, anyways, I took one actually that was a really good one for I think it was DraftKings. I did one and I did it just fine, but I liked that test out of everything that I ever did because it actually was like design an API that does or like code an API in C sharp that does this like business process type thing that you would normally do. It wasn't like a solve this sorting algorithm with or the
Using
I don't know
a
which.
merge sort or radix sort.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do some of those, and it's like it's fine. It's just like brain teasers and under the gun. Like there's so much that of your environment that could affect that, and there's rarely. I mean, it's problem solving at a very small level, so it proves you've got the ability to think through a problem. But there's always usually like a gotcha or something that you have to overcome, and if you just don't have the epiphany and the time frame, which is the big problem, is the time frame. Um, it doesn't really prove how decent you are at actually problem solving and coming to good solutions at a broad level. It just shows you how fast you can come to a solution at that moment in time. And who knows, what else you've got going on in your life. Um, yeah, and it's probably a bit. I don't know. There might be some like inherent ageism in those kinds of things too, because like you know, I think kids' brains work faster for those kinds of stuff, but they probably don't have the wisdom that goes with it, which you can't really capture with a coding test. You know what I mean?
I think there needs to be a better system. I think resumes don't make sense.
Yeah, I hate resumes. I
They
think
don't make sense. Like you literally have to play a game on a resume to defeat the algorithms. Like it's a stupid, antiquated medium for qualifying candidates for a job.
yeah, LinkedIn is enough of a resume. It's like just if you got that, you shouldn't have to also have a resume. I can't stand resumes. Every time I have to make one, I just get frustrated and annoyed by it.
Can't stand estimates.
Oh, estimates too, man. I'll be with you there. I like it bothers me so much that nobody ever ever contemplates the cost of the time it takes to do the estimates or like why we do them. Like,
Yeah, you basically have to do it just to give an estimate after you're like 3/4 done with it.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I was doing that in mobile. They're like, yeah, we need an estimate on how long this is going to take. And I would like spend a weekend like just writing out the foundation of it. All right, let's like
yeah. Well, I think it's going to
I
take this
really
long.
wish I think the book was called Developer Hegemony, which I never read.
Gemini, yeah,
How do you pronounce it?
developer hegemony.
I
I
thought
think
it
is what
was I can't say hegemony.
I think it's hegemony.
Is it
That's how
homogeneous or homogeneous? I say homogeneous.
homogeneous. Yeah, yeah. If you go to Google, it's hegemony.
All right, developer hegemony. Like I really
Hegemony.
wish software companies were managed by extremely senior software developers that maybe graduated to CTOs instead of accountants.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's companies like that.
I, like there's so many things that I was ready to like just go into Wikipedia mode on my interview. Like I wanted to discuss CAP theorem. I wanted to discuss the eight fallacies of distributed computing. Like I had spent that whole weekend just absorbing, so I could try to negotiate my bill rate, and I didn't have an opportunity to do it during my interview.
Well,
Do you remember
maybe in your
the
next interview it will pan out.
Do you remember the eight fallacies of distributed computing? I'm sure you could
Do I
probably.
remember it?
I'm
I
sure
don't
you could
know that
probably.
I've ever.
All right. So basically, you have to think about everything that when you work with other people, it annoys you because they just assume, right? So like one is
Oh, like the network's reliable and
that's one.
yeah. So I remember that one, but gosh, I
Bandwidth
don't
is
know.
infinite.
Oh, okay.
Two, there is only one administrator across a distributed um, system. That's
Okay.
another fallacy. The network topology is uh, I say homogeneous or homogeneous, whatever the word is. That's four.
Homogeneous. Yeah.
Networks are secure. Five. Uh, networks don't change. Six. Or the network topology doesn't change. Did I already say that one earlier?
Mm-hmm.
I did say that earlier.
I can't remember.
All right. The network topology doesn't change. And then I got two more. Give me the other two. I gave you like the first six.
I don't know these, man. All I remember is the one about the network being reliable. Um, uh, is it all of it? Hmm.
I said there's only one administrator. There's infinite bandwidth. Uh, the network part. So there's like four or five network parts. Maybe I'll just name network parts. It was like the network is reliable. The network is secure. The network topology doesn't change. The network is homogeneous. I don't know if I just did that. Assume that's five. All
Latency
right.
is zero.
That's the one I was missing. Latency is zero. There's infinite bandwidth. And network transport costs is
Yeah, zero.
zero.
Yeah, I just
And
googled
that's
it.
a yeah.
Look at I googled it and I was able to get the same results as you from memory.
Uh,
2 seconds.
anyway, I had all that memorized. And then CAP theorem is consistency, availability, and partition tolerance.
Yeah,
And then I
me
was going
too.
to try to map all that into the Azure vendor products. Like I was, yeah. I'm not going to lose this information. I'm going to interview. And I've been watching like YouTube, like people in New York and people in California bragging about how they make $400,000 a year, and I'm like, yeah, I want that too. But they went to like Ivy League schools, which means that they probably memorized a lot of crap that I haven't memorized.
Yeah, you get that, and then that's only valuable if you're living remote though, or you're working remote.
Yeah.
$400,000 in Minnesota would go a long way. Rural Minnesota, you'd literally in 1 year buy and pay off your house, and then basically live rent free forever at 400,000 a year. Be sweet. And then you could buy a lake house.
Yeah, I remember you showed me some
That'd be a little
images of
more.
lake houses.
That'd be a little more, but you could buy a small, like a just a decent house.
How
Um,
often do you go to St. Paul or Minneapolis?
Rarely.
How far are they
Um,
away from each other?
they're like literally right next to each other.
Is it
Um,
like Miami and Fort Lauderdale, or
uh, I'm not really sure. It's like if you
like
look at
it's
it, it's like
40 minutes away from each other?
you cross the Mississippi and you're in St. Paul. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It's like
it's
Cincinnati and Kentucky.
yeah. I think anyways. St. Paul is. I mean, it's a little bit further away from yeah, because there's all these suburbs and stuff. So downtown Minneapolis is I don't know. It's really not that far from St. Paul, but St. Paul is very overshadowed by Minneapolis. Minneapolis is really the big city in Minnesota.
It's like Toronto and Mississauga.
The metropolitan area. There's definitely like good areas of the cities in that, but
What happened to
um,
Gamlord, man? He was my only viewer.
I don't know. Maybe the religious discussion we had was too much.
Probably.
I'm gonna find you a home in Minnesota here. Let me see. What can Scott afford? Oh, this house is for sale. Interesting. There's this house that's in my like the neighborhood that I grew up. That's just distinctly out of place because it's stylistically different from every other house. So it's got that kind of like it looks like it should be in like Arizona or something with Spanish influence, but it's just like in this odd area in
Was
Minnesota.
it colonial?
I'm not even sure what style this is. I wonder if they have that listed since it's kind of unique. Um, they don't really have it listed. It has those like like Adobe or Adobo style tiles on the roof
Adobo.
or whatever.
You know what adobo is?
No, Adobe.
It's Filipino cuisine.
Oh, I shot you the link. It's just that house compared to every other house in the area is just it's confusing why it's structured that way. Let me
Oh,
see.
yeah.
We need to find you a good
You weren't
lake.
lying. It looks like a
Like it should be Arizona or whatever.
like a
Not
Mexican home or something.
yeah. Let's see. Let's get you some lakefront property.
I like the walkway.
Yeah, it's actually a nice little house. Here we go. 1.6 million for Scott. What do we got here? This must be on Gull
Looks
Lake.
like a pueblo.
Pueblo, is that the term for it?
No, a pueblo I thought was houses that are built into mountains.
Oh,
Like,
maybe.
well, not houses, but homes. Like the I thought Indians had pueblo, or I'm sorry, I thought Native Americans had pueblos. In the western states.
Yeah, I think you're right. Pueblo. Hmm.
You got any plans for this weekend?
Yeah, camping again. So, although I get to
Wi-
try something new, I
With your buddies or your family?
family. Um, so I get to try this thing. It's called a beer caramelizer. It's like it's just a metal rod that you put in the fire, and then you dip it into a beer, and it's supposed to kind of like roasting a marshmallow. It caramelizes the sugars in the beer, and it's supposed to like enhance the flavor or whatever. So kind of excited to try that out, but that's about it
You
for
have to go camping in order to try that.
no, no, but it's just um, we're going camping, so we'll have a campfire.
I
So
want to. I want to get a jet ski, but I don't want to maintain it. I don't want to pay for a marina.
you just rent it then. Rent them when you need them.
You know how much it costs to rent a jet ski here?
I don't know.
It costs. It costs about $180.
Not too bad though.
It is bad. 10 years ago, when I was in Tampa, I was renting a jet ski for like $65 for an hour.
But how much does a so jet ski cost? Like $5,000 to $20,000
I would
for a
assume
new
that
one.
a brand new one, I would assume would cost 10,000.
Yeah, so you could do how many runs of the jet ski could you do renting before you buy a new one without having to maintain it?
Yeah, but after an hour, you don't really have a use for it.
Yeah, that's why you rent them. It's like buying a Segway. I want to buy a Segway, but I know that I would never use it.
I understand what my argument is. It's too expensive to rent. Like it's almost $200 for an hour.
Yeah, but it's like $10,000 to buy one. So you could go 5 hours for 1,000. You could go
In
what 50,
Miami,
50 hours.
like in a normal city, it's probably like $70. Miami is like freaking. I can't do the math, but I feel like it's almost like two and a half times that.
Let me see, what does it cost to rent a jet ski up here? Mm-hmm. Affordable rates.
Just in Antarctica.
Mm, no, it's at least this place. It's like $300 a day.
Yeah, but people aren't going to jet ski for an entire day.
Yeah, about $200 a day seems to be about the going rate.
All right,
Two to
so
three
you
hundred
take
bucks a day.
$200 a day, and then take $200 an hour in Miami. Now you can understand why I'm like, that's unreasonable. I did it once. I'm not doing it again. I'm just
Yeah, I
gonna build a
suppose if you have to
raft.
pay by the hour, it'd be pretty rough. You're just living in too expensive of a place.
I wish there was a business model where for $250 a month, I can access a jet ski maybe up to 5 times a month, use it or lose it.
There you go.
I
There's
would
a
subscribe to
business.
that.
It's a timeshare, but for toys.
Yeah.
You want to have a fractional quarter share ownership of a jet ski, and you just have to schedule it using the beach scheduler app.
Yeah, they'll literally a courier will ride the jet ski over to the the shoreline, and then I'm sure there's some legal loops. So the okay, never mind. I was going to say that the stock market for like the last 2 or 3 days has been it's been in green, but I'm not. I think it's trying to lure me. It's trying to bait me, so that when
Yeah,
I
that's right.
reinvest in it, it's going to tank another 1,000 points per day.
Yeah, it's been rallying. I saw that, but I haven't. I don't know.
I took an
I don't
L,
trust
dude.
it.
I took an L. All right.
Ooh, no, this morning it's dropped. At least for everything that I'm on. It took a big dip suddenly for whatever reason. Not a huge dip, but maybe it just looks like it's bigger than it is.
I told you I'm waiting for OnlyFans to go public so I can invest in it.
It's just get your only set up your own OnlyFans account. Watch a
No,
TikTok.
a lot of people are going to prostitute themselves just to pay their bills. That's why I'm going to invest in it
Yeah.
for this
Well,
recession 2.0.
I saw a TikTok of a guy. He went and paid off his sister's student loans with his first day of his OnlyFans money that he made.
What
They
is
had
he?
like $20,000,
He was a sex worker.
basically.
I didn't know guys can do that.
Yeah, dudes can do it. You get tips
Okay.
from you know horny housewives and gay dudes, I suppose.
I would assume that the majority is probably gay dudes. We live in an effed up society, man.
No, we don't.
We do.
It's all going according to plan.
We're going to repeat the history of the
Gamblers here.
Roman Empire.
Yeah, as all great enterprises do.
Gamlor. Gambler, you want to come and say hi for the next 5 minutes? Are you too busy? I'll send you a link.
Dun, dun, dun.
What's your on Twitter? What's your handle? I forget because he has an alias Gambler, and I forgot his other alias.
Gamler and
Hot Tamale 69. Gambler Heart. All right.
Gamlor.
mm, Gambler Heart. Hold up. Gambler Heart. Okay. You know what? Let me try a different way. Search Twitter. Gambler Heart. Why can I not? Hold up. Gamler. Oh, okay. There's no E in heart.
So he's Gamler there and Gamlor here.
Why am I hooked on phonics? Gamler. Gamler. Okay.
I just got this vision in my head
Roman.
of
That was his name.
Roman.
Okay.
Yeah, I got this vision in my head of somebody who's like
I
sitting
could not
there
spell
like
for the
a
life of me.
like they're all kind of they look like they're all drugged out or something, and they're like go up and somebody asks them what's going on, what are you addicted to? It's I'm hooked on phonics, man. It's just
You remember those commercials? Hooked on
hooked on
phonics works
phonics
for
works for
me.
me. Yep, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
I could not spell his name for the life of me when I was trying to find him on Twitter.
Hmm.
Yo, I hate your handle name. Yeah, his alias is Roman. I forgot.
Roman.
Roman or Gamlor. What's going on?
Hooray! Or too many internet aliases. Does my audio
Uh,
even work?
Sean said that you boycotted our stream when we were talking about religion last Friday.
Oh no! Yeah, I think I was on vacation last Friday, so. Yes, I was.
Okay.
The last 2 weekends, at least.
All right.
The
So
only
here's a
one-
trip.
oh,
Here's
go
a
ahead.
trivia, and I ask almost every single time. He said he must have said it a dozen times, and I can never remember. Sean, Gambler is
No,
from what country?
don't do it. Uh, Switzerland.
Yes, check
Yeah,
for that.
there we go.
Okay. I always want to say Sweden. For some reason, Sweden and Switzerland to me are the same
Yeah,
countries.
they
I don't
but
know why.
there's even like if you have like internet forums where it's like a Dropbox for the country, it's like you type S for a while, then it's like Sweden, and then I think there's sometimes Swaziland, like Swaziland, enter. No,
All right, so it's which one joined or which one's about to join NATO? It's not
Sweden,
Sweden.
okay.
Sweden.
Okay, so Switzerland's neutral, right?
Yeah.
Or they're already
No,
in
there's
NATO.
like I think that's like some minor thing at the moment. Some countries want to export some weapons to Ukraine, but they have like there's some Swiss weapon in it, and in the Swiss weapon contracts, it's like you are not allowed to re-export it. So it's like, yeah, whatever.
Is Swiss crap Switzerland? Do you recommend traveling to Switzerland?
If you want
Like,
to, if you want to spend a lot of money, yes, it's a pricey place.
For a
uh,
second, I thought you were going to say if you want to die, yes. Oh, I better not go to Switzerland.
I think yeah, I'm not sure.
I
I mean,
want
it depends what you want to see. It's like Europe.
chocolate. Is it Switzerland that has the chocolate on the
Yes.
when I go to the grocery store and I look at chocolate pudding? It's Switzerland, I thought.
There's usually a lot of chocolate bars in Switzerland in your average supermarket.
And watches, right? Swiss are famous for watches.
Yeah, but that's not in your average supermarket. That's still a specialized store.
Or
Or
Switzerland
the
women
tourist spot, of course. Then then they
or
push
Swiss
the watches.
are Switzerland women westernized or are they more Eastern? Like, does their culture model like Eastern Europe?
It's not Eastern Europe. I would say it's yeah. It depends a bit on the topic. It's at least in law and regulation, Switzerland is usually a bit conservative, lagging slightly behind the rest of Europe. But yeah, even but that's more in like regulation.
I want to go there. I want to visit it. Hopefully, like everything will be cool. I haven't been to a nightclub in a really long time, but I could totally see myself doing like lines of coke and going to a Switzerland like nightclub. Like a
I'm
lot of
not sure.
techno.
Switzerland is the place for nightlife. It's like I would say Switzerland. It is kind of a boring country in that respect. It's like everything is like tuned down.
But surely you guys have like a event that people flock to from other countries, no?
I think like if you mention nightclub, there's like the street parade every year. It's like
Okay.
that
Kind
is
of
like
basic.
somewhere. I guess it's now happening this year. Now the Corona stuff is more or less tuned down.
Yeah, I have on my bucket list to do Oktoberfest, but I assume that that's Germany and not
That's
Switzerland.
Germany, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
But
Roman.
Munich is not that far from the Swiss border. It's like, yeah. In
Now,
case you go to the Munich to Oktoberfest in Switzerland, is not that far anymore.
now, is Switzerland part of the European Union? Can you guys just travel country to country
It's
without?
not part of the European Union, but there's like a lot of bilateral agreements, so the border is open. It's like it's part of the Schengen border agreement, where yeah,
You know
it's
what I
like free
want to do?
travel.
I want to take my motorcycle that's coming in, like it's an adventure motorcycle, and like well, it's probably gonna cost way too much money and tariffs to ship it to the European countries. But I want to go like cross country across Europe for like probably 3 weeks. Because I heard like Europe, that's what people do. They just ride their motorcycles like in the country for a really really long time. I don't know if you're into bikes or not, but
I'm not into bikes, so I don't know.
uh,
But yeah, I mean, I guess you can do that. I'm not sure I have to rent or buy and sell the bike. I don't know about that part. So because I
all
guess
right.
shipping is not worth the effort. I assume.
So so this is what I need to do. I need to figure out when's the next software conference or software convention in Switzerland So I could go ahead and pay the $5,000 to go up there and another $2,000 for the hotel, and then I could write it off as a business expense to ride some motorcycles and hang out with you and do some nightclubs and do lines of coke and everything else. So sounds good, right?
Sweet. There's
They don't
what is
have
there for
conferences
software?
there.
I don't think there are software
I
conferences,
don't
but
know
there's
why I
more.
associate European countries with like cocaine use.
I'm not sure. That's just like my level of understanding is no. There's like headline understanding. I just saw like more or less news. Just I didn't research into it. It's just like newspaper. So maybe it's not that
I
proper
don't know.
research. But there's
Whenever
like
I,
they check the how the sewer for like traces of cocaine, and like some parts of Switzerland are notoriously high. Like I guess where the bankers. I was like,
no, whenever I watch Hollywood movies, it's always like they're in Europe and they're at a nightclubs and they're like taking like a credit card and they're dicing up cocaine and doing lines. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious because I'm not a I don't really see that lifestyle even in Miami. So I mean, well, then again, I don't really go out. So
yeah, I cannot answer. I didn't have that lifestyle.
all right. Well, I think I got to start work. You are Switzerland is. I'm gonna guess they're more than 6 hours. I would assume Switzerland is probably if it's 8:35 here. I would assume it's probably 2:30 in Switzerland or in your
Yes,
city.
exactly.
Okay. Hey, I'm pretty smart. All right, Roman. Well, hey, I'm about to hop off. I gotta start my work day.
Yeah, I gotta go
Good
too.
catching up with you.
Yeah.
So, thanks. See ya.
Bye.
See
Bye.
ya.